Hey everyone, I wanted to call and make a video. I guess I'm not calling, I'm making a video of my doctor doing my MRI last week on Wednesday and let you know what's going on. So you might remember that it was about 9 months ago that I had that surgery on my head, and they said on average you can see the cancer coming back in 3.5 months, but at 6 months they still couldn't see it. So I was doing really well, and then at 9 months they could see it. So it's coming back. It's not surprising. A little sad, you know. I think we would all hope like, wow, maybe it'll be some kind of a miracle, but you know, I knew that the research in this is that pretty much everyone's gone very quickly. And the fact that, you know, with my genetics and my issues, I was, you know, on average, I get 7.5 months. The fact that I'm like, I don't know, 15, 17 months out right now is incredible. So the thing that's a little bit hard for some people close to me to hear is that the doctor said it's growing so fast, and I'm not applicable for any, not only any research, but any treatment. So the only treatment I can get is, for those of you who used to work with me, you'll go, whoa. I can get some, oh, what's it called? Here's me not remembering words. Lucentis and Avastin. So I can get Avastin to help with my side effects. It's not going to give me any extra time, but it will really help with side effects. So that's surprising, because it gives other, like breast cancer, it will give them a lot of extra time, but brain cancer hasn't shown to do that. But it will help in other ways. So I'm going to be on Avastin, which is quite interesting, given that my company made that. And the guy, by the way, as a side note, the guy that created that is an Italian guy, and that's the one that stops people from going blind from macular degeneration. The wet version of macular degeneration. That used to be the #1 cause of blindness in elderly patients in the United States, and now it's not. And so that I'm basically on the same drug, essentially, just for something else. So really grateful for that. The hard thing for people to hear is that the doctor said that, I said, well, what would you guess is my average time? And he said about 3 months. And a good month is going to be, I mean, a good length of a month is, his guess, is going to be pretty rough. Maybe 2 months. So he said, you know, depending on which way this is going, it can affect different parts. You know, it could possibly make you blind, although that's going to be pretty rare, he said, given where it is in my brain and so forth. But one of the things he said, and I thought, of course, you know me, I thought of something spiritual about this, is he said, one other thing that can happen quite often is that it can really change how you're showing up, you know, as a person. You can totally start showing up quite differently. So, you know, like with Alzheimer's, for example, a lot of people show up differently, and a lot of Alzheimer's patients get really, like they might not remember who you are, they might get angry easily, or they might be stressed out or freaked out, or, you know, he didn't say it was necessarily going to be a negative thing or a scary thing, but I'm going to be quite different. And the reason why I think this is so interesting is that, as you all know, I've read a lot of different religious stuff. And one of them was in Buddhism about who are you? You know, who are you? And we'd all say, oh, well, I'm Sarah Taylor, or, oh, I'm a researcher, or, oh, I'm a kind person, a nice person, I like to give things away, you know, whatever you think about yourself. And I remember sitting in Buddhist groups where they said, well, if you're Sarah Taylor, but you were to, you know, get married to somebody else and change your name, are you no longer you? And I thought, oh, okay, so I'm not my name. And I think I've talked to this before, so I won't go into detail until I get to the last point, because there are these points like, okay, you're not your name, you're not your job, and there are several things that we think we are, but we haven't really thought it through well enough. And, you know, I could say I'm 49 years old and I was a therapist. Well, I'm not a therapist anymore, and wouldn't be 49 if I made it through November. So that's not who I am. And I'm not this body, because if I were to get in a car accident and they cut off both of my legs after surgery, I'd still be here. And so then the question is like, oh, okay, I get it. I'm me. You know, like we're all different. We all have different personalities, and I'm my personality. But here's the point is like, I'll be here, and in a couple of months, I might not be showing up as the Sarah that you've known all these years. You know, if I were old, I could be getting asthma and showing up totally different than I have for decades. So we're not our personalities either, which leaves you with this, left me anyway with this, oh my God, well then who the hell am I? And that's the whole point. You know, we're not what we think we are. And I don't think we can really know who we are. I believe that we are, I don't know how to word this, but, you know, we're basically the word's not coming to me, but I wish I could come up with this, but this is so common these days. You know, we are all, the word's not coming, but we're here, you know, but we are not our personalities. We're not these bodies. We're just inside them right now. So anyway, sorry I can't come up with words, but you're hearing how it is. I still have some other videos I'd like to do, so I'm going to try to do them fairly soon. Get them on air before I start forgetting lots and lots of words, because then they won't want to listen to them. But anyway, I know this can be a little bit hard to hear, but I want you to know that I'm totally okay with it. It's not my goal. It's not like my choice. If I had a choice to live longer, of course I would. But we don't know what's coming. You know, we don't know what's coming. And there have been a lot of people, and there's actually been medical studies now where they've researched people who were officially dead, but brought back to life very quickly. You know, 2, 3, 4 minutes ago, and they're able to get them back alive, and thank God you're still alive. And they did this really interesting study in 9 different hospitals around the country in the United States. And they looked at people who had died from heart problems, usually heart disease, you know, heart attacks, but they were brought back in. And 89% of those people couldn't remember what had happened, but 11% remember it, and they all had pretty much the same story. These are over 200 people that met that 11%. Over 2,000 people were studied. And when they were asked, hey, did anything happen when you died? And they said, well, yeah, this is going to sound really weird, but, and they all pretty much told the same story, which was amazing. You know, it's like, yeah, I saw this light, and I had these people that nobody who's still on the world, but these people in my life who have died, and they were waiting for me, and they were all so happy to see me. And I was filled with love. I was filled with this feeling of happiness that was like 2,000 times happier than when my baby came out. You know, I was so happy when my baby was born, and I was like 2,000 times even happier than that. And people were telling these stories in this medical study. And so I just have to believe that, you know, even though I also think that we're going to come back and we're going to be reincarnated, I think there's going to be time that we get, you know, up in a heavenly-like place. And who knows? I could be wrong, but that's what I think. And so it's okay, you know. I think it would be a lot harder for me if it was my husband dying or my family dying, my best friends dying. I'd probably be in a lot more pain. But I just want you to know that I'm doing okay. Nobody needs to call and think, oh my gosh, Sarah's probably, you know, doing horribly. For those of you who know Mark, I hope you'll reach out to him. He's having a hard time, as you can imagine. I would be having a really hard time if it were Mark in this situation. So, you know, if I can ask a favor of those who do know Mark, I just ask that over time, you know, now and when I'm gone, just reach out to him and let him know he's got a friend who's there for him. And, you know, if you live locally and you can go on a bike ride together or go skiing together or whatever, I would love that. That's the only request I have, is that those of you who know Mark can help be his friend, you know, now and in the future. Not just for the month after Sarah dies, but years and years later. Just reach out and see if he wants to head out with you for anything, you know, dinner or whatever. It'd be fun. I don't know if there's anything else to say. I do have some other videos I want to do, so I'm not done. But I just want to tell you how much I appreciate all of you for listening to these and for hearing this news. I can imagine it's not easy for some of you. Just know that I feel very loved, and I love all of you so much.